Hello, everyone. Before I get really into the jokes and everything, start getting into that, I wanted to share with everybody in here some very exciting news that I learned recently. I think it's very exciting. We have made a huge step as a species with our technology because scientists managed to teleport a cryptogram to a satellite in orbit instantaneously using the process of quantum entangled particle pairing. I know. It's a pretty big deal. I don't have a joke for that. I honestly don't fully understand what it means. I just like starting off with that because I'm pretty sure that I look exactly how that sounds. So you're welcome. I just want to prove a few first impressions completely correct. That's all I wanted to do. This guy looks like he's full of space facts. I am. Chock full of space facts. Might have been what most of you were thinking. Some of you might have been thinking, wait, if he's here, who's teaching all of the night classes on how to use Excel? Today was pivot tables, so we took a break. Those are hard. I do a lot of space stuff, though. I'm so full of space facts, you can find me out back after the show trying to pick up babes with details about the Challenger explosion. See, the problem was the O-rings in the solid rocket launch boosters. They weren't rated for the cold temperature on launch day. They couldn't seal. They couldn't get flexible when things got hot, and I can get flexible when things get hot. The engineers knew it might happen, and they tried to warn the heads of NASA. They wanted to delay the launch by another day, but NASA didn't want any more delays. They just wanted to, get that thing up there, and I can... No, any delay. Dang, they're shocking. Comedy was my favorite thing to do, but before that I did have a day job. I actually was a scientist. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But I wasn't one of the cool ones. Before you get excited, I was not one of the cool scientists because I was a geologist. And that's the exact response a geologist should get. We're not one of the cool scientists. No one's excited to meet a geologist. We're at the bottom of the totem pole in terms of cool sciences. You think about it, if the apocalypse were to happen, no one's looking for the geologist to help. It's not ever going to happen. There's ever going to be a whole bunch of wasteland survivors gathered together and just be like, all right, the virus is spreading rapidly, society has entirely collapsed, and there's no Wi-Fi anywhere. Geologist, what do we do? And I'm going to be standing there I've got about 12 words for what color the ground is right now. Is that useful to you? No. Is that useful to us all? Why did we even bring you with us? We should have left you behind with a naturopath. Equally as useful. Naturopath is in the background trying to help someone with a broken ankle. Have you tried whispering kisses to it? Worst injury I've seen in my 6 months of reading blogs. I became, I was going to school and I had to figure out what I was going to school for. And I became a geologist because I figured out that the time frames are so long and everything is such a big, hard prediction that no one's going to live long enough to prove anything you say wrong. And it's really good. It's one of the only sciences where you can just make shit up and still be right. It's awesome. I got into it because I heard a radio interview. They were talking about this headline that they circulate every once in a while about this apocalyptic earthquake that's going to hit the West Coast and wipe us all out. It's going to be the biggest that the world's ever seen, and it's going to happen right here in Vancouver. And on a slow news day, they'll find a geologist to interview about this, and he'll be super specific up to a point. Because the interview will be all right, so we hear this is going to happen. Walk us through this. How do we know what's going on? And the geologists were well, you see, we've used very precise GPS measurements, and we found that the plates have buckled against each other and they're starting to bend up like a spring. And we can measure that very exactly and be able to predict how much displacement there will be, how much energy will be released, and that's how we know this earthquake's going to be so apocalyptic. And the interviewer is very impressed and says, oh, like seems a lot of thought and science and money has gone into this. So what's the prediction? When can we expect this to happen? And that's when the geologist is like, oh, somewhere between today and in 50,000 years. It's not a prediction, that's amazing. Like anybody in here could go on the news today and be the earthquake forecaster. All of you could. They just turn to you and be like, what's the earthquake forecast, Jim? And you just need to be like, maybe today, and you will be right. Like no one calls geologists on anything. People second guess other sciences all the time. It's so much more difficult for anybody else. Like environmentalists are always questioned, the doctors especially. Doctors have it the worst because they go to school 10 times longer than I did, and there are people in this modern day and age still going into doctors' clinics like, your vaccines give my chihuahua autism. The doctor has to very patiently be like, no, it's a chihuahua, it already had autism. Handle those dogs hard. I still like looking at the science and technology news now, and every once in a while I'll find something really neat and exciting, like the one I found, and just hilarious to me. I've learned that nuclear war can be fun, if you make it fun, and the United States has made it fun, because the nuclear program there is protected. The way they lock them down and control them is with a computer system from the 70s, and it's controlled by 7-inch floppy disks. That's how out of date it is. And they call it the Strategic Automated Command and Control System, and they abbreviate that by just calling it the first letter of each and call it SEX. That's what they do. And that makes me feel like the Pentagon is just a couple of 13-year-olds high-fiving each other, being like, how do you fire the rocket? Use the SEX. And even better, they decided to upgrade that recently by using a new solid-state hard drive system that is more modern and secure, and they decided to call that the Solid Hard Drive Automated Failsafe Triggers. And so the U.S. is going from a floppy system to a hard system by going from the sack to the shaft, which is amazing to me. 17-year-old's high-fiving. That's my favorite thing. There's I talk about technology a lot, but I'm not very good with it. Like, I like researching into it, but I'm not good at actually using technology in every day. Like, I'm married despite everything. And actually, I'm married, and I was trying to figure out something to spice things up a bit. I wanted to make things more sexy. And then I realized something that I hadn't tried before that I could try to spice things up. I realized that at the point that we had started dating, smartphones are only just starting to become a thing. And out of never needing to, I've never in my life taken or sent a dick picture. Ever. And I guess that never became more clear than when I just used the phrase dick picture. I don't think that's what people are calling it. Might as well have been like a penis portrait, if you will. I have a commissioning runoff to amazing. But this is great. This is something new that I could bring to the relationship, something that's exciting and fun. So I had myself my own little portraiture session until I had one that I was happy with, which still feels weird to say. Like I was looking up YouTube videos on photography. Shading became very important. So I finally had one I was happy with, and I was gonna send it to her, and then I chickened out of it. I really did. It didn't feel like me or something that I would do. So I just decided to forget about the whole thing. And I mean the whole thing. Because just a few days later, we were out having coffee together, and I was showing her cute little pictures of our cats on my phone, just swiping away, no care in the world. Yeah, I'm an idiot, did not delete them, and she saw it and got super taken aback, because it's not like me. It's not like me at all to do something like that. And I noticed what was happening and just blurted out the first excuse that came to my mind, and I was just like, oh, that's not mine! Oh, a penis on your phone, it better be yours, Gavin! Where was I gonna go with that excuse? Like, oh, that's not mine, I was holding it for a friend. You know how it is.